Manchester United versus Manchester City was quite a boring derby game. We saw 0 yellow cards, but not only that, we saw both teams probably not get out of third and fourth gear. Now, Manchester United was not that good at all, and they had metrics that were pretty close to Manchester City, whereas both teams had similar amount of shots, not the same on target though. They had passes were similar. Manchester United actually had more possession than Manchester City at home. But then when you really looked at the game, you could not see that that is what was happening on the pitch. The eye test would have showed you that Manchester City had a very comfortable win. Now, Erling Haaland within that broke a few records where he had reached 50 goals, but not only that, he also had 11 goals in 6 matches in the Manchester United derby, which is more than even Wayne Rooney had. So this is another statistics where Haaland has been breaking a record. And for me, this is why we're going to look into the 3 things that we learned from the game. So number 1, United lack creativity and movement in the attacking third. Now we see a lot of stiff sort of play from the United players. There was no fluidity, there was no movement, there was no running in behind as we usually see, and it was very much everything was in front of City. City was pressing United well, and I just think that they lacked a lot of movement. You saw Amad Diallo consistently playing on a side where he's not comfortable, so you see him turning back a lot or playing just to the side. He wasn't picking up smart positions inside of the number 10 position or in the pockets where United could have played to him for him to be on the half turn. Also, we saw that Sesko is really just a number 9 and wants to play just as a 9. So the fluidity within that you've lost, because when you have a player like Zerski or Konya, Mbeumo, these players playing, even Ahmad with a Mount, then there's a lot more fluidity in the front 3. So that's a bit of a tactical switch I feel like United have to get ready to deal with. And that's a bit of a tweak that United probably have to learn to play with. But I just think that we lacked a lot of fluidity in the attacking third. Now, this brings me to point number 2. No communication on the press. Now, a lot of times when the front 3 is going forward on the press, we saw that the midfield is jumping out, but the centre backs are staying within a back 3 or sometimes even a back 4 or 5. Sometimes especially when you're playing with a 2 in your midfield and you have a back 3, the center defender has to jump forward, or one of the defenders have to jump forward to mark that extra guy in the middle of the park to not allow them to create an overload. Now, lots of times in the game, I don't know if United were just scared, or maybe in the first couple times of the game where they had a press and they played out of the press a few times and played to the wingers in Doku, or even sometimes to Foden picking up the ball a bit wider. They stopped trying to press high because they were afraid that that ball would have been played behind. But it actually is more dangerous when you allow the midfielder to turn, break your press, and then he's able to pass whatever pass he wants to whatever play he wants. So you might as well jump out, get beaten, then have someone to recover. Then you usually just stay, and then you allow that guy to turn and start running at the team, because most times then that creates bigger spaces for you to cover than the one that you needed to cover, or you could have just fouled the guy if you just pressed him up a bit higher. So I feel like within that, United need to communicate a lot more on the press, because too many times you see the first goal was lack of communication by Shaw, by Ugarte, by Dogu, by Bruno, by Lenny Yoro. The second goal, the same thing, lack of communication. And the third goal again, lack of communication. Ugarte playing a bad ball to Shaw, Shaw playing a bad ball to Maguire, and instead they just said Maguire clear the ball or play the ball outside. They didn't say anything. Lack of communication again. So I feel like the team needs to work on communicating. But not only the team, the manager as well need to learn to communicate a bit better with the players, and which is what brings me to my third point. Ruben Amorim needs to be a bit more tactically flexible within games. Now, I don't think the system is the problem. The system is not the problem. When you play a back three, it allows you to play back four, back five in the same fluidity and flexibility. But the problem is with Ruben Amorim is within games, he's not making some changes just to even try things. Now we're in the period of where we can try things. He's not picking up the best results. He's also trying things off the pitch, but he's trying the most abstract things. You know, in the game you saw like Amad Diallo was struggling clearly on the left side. Mbeumo has played on the left side of a front two and a front three. Why he never switched them for a bit? You know, they switched maybe for like 2 minutes of the game, and that was only because Amad chased someone to play defense on the right side, and Mbeumo ended up on the left side just because Amad was over there. But they never really switched much in the game, and both of them probably needed a switch. So then each player could have found a different angle in the game and learn how to play in another position based on what the game was asking for. Also, he could have tried a Dogu and a Mazwai by switching them, because I do think that a Doku and a Dogu battle would have been good, especially with Doku trying to cut inside. Doku is already on his natural leg, Dogu I mean, so he could just chase him and run him inside. And also for pace and physicality, they are much similar. Also, Bryan Mbeumo is custom of playing with a left footer Amad, i.e. next to him. So maybe he could have made that change, as well as switching Noose over to the left hand side, where Amad is accustomed of playing with a right footer next to him, sometimes when he plays in the 10. So maybe that would have been a similar angle for him, not having a left back and having an inverted right footer come in and help him, which would have allowed him also to drift out wide instead of having a player that's always astute, that's staying wide. So there's a few things that he could have made and changed just to try things in the game. You know, he also could have brought on a Menu a bit early and pushed Bruno up top since at the half, you know, and then maybe try to drift Bruno in at a 10-ish more, but a central 10, and have a Sesko and a Bryan Mbeumo playing as a 2, while Amad, Bruno, Dogu playing right behind him as a 3, and you still have a 3, a 1, a 3, and a 2. So there was so many ways in which he could have go about trying different things in the game. And this is why I just think that he can also add a bit of tactical flexibility within games, which will allow him to be a bit more, you know, try things while learning on the job. And also you would find out that who can play here, who cannot play here. Now, I get that him trying Amad there was an experiment for him to probably say, okay, probably we won't play Amad here again. Amad is really a right wing back. But come on, you have to be a bit more flexible within the games if you're not going to be flexible at all with your formation or your system. But yes, people, this has been 3 things that I learned within the game. If you agree with me or you disagree, hit the comment section, like, share, and subscribe to the page. Please don't forget to keep hitting the bell for notifications so we can keep bringing you great content going forward. It's been your boy Yaya. Take care.